Welcome back to Last of Us Therapy, baby. Anyway, let me mute. Hold on. I gotta mute this guy. Anyway, I digress. What do I want to do? I'm gonna cut left. But the whole deal here is, I don't know. I think that one thing that I wanted to dwell on previously is that I tend to ruminate a lot over small things and failures because I feel like that's just a thing that I do. It's a mentality, it's a mindset. And in my personal opinion, I just don't really even think that that's a beneficial way to go about doing business, you know? Okay, well, his boy's coming now. Let's go for the finish. Probably not gonna revive that guy. I'm a sociopath, I guess. The one thing about pushing is, and also when you do something, you probably don't know for sure if it's the right decision, right? Like, I'm starting a photography business right now, and I'm like, well, man, photography is such a saturated field. There's so many things wrong with it. There's so, you know, and what if I never make it? And it's like, well, realistically, like, you can't care enough about something that it destroys you like that. That's one. But then the other thing is that make it work. Because the reality is, things don't necessarily work because they work. They work because someone made it work. And if you really think about it, that's kind of the way that it is. Because, you know, fundamentally, you know, hospitals, universities, all that, they didn't just show up out of nowhere. They came from somewhere, and it's because people did it. So put in the work. And the other thing is, I feel like life is a lot easier, actually, than we like to tell ourselves. You know? I feel like the things that you want are not as far away as you tell yourself they are. And I think social media definitely contributes a lot to telling you that what you want is unattainable, and it's like yearning, basically, right? Like do you want it, or do you just want to yearn for it? Because if you want it, you know, it's there for the taking, but then it's like, well, what's stopping you? What is it that's stopping you from getting the things that you want in your life? Frankly, the things that you deserve. And I think what it comes down to is what I just said, that you don't think you deserve them. You think they're above you. You deify your goals. And I think that if you do that, you're deifying the wrong things. You know? You can't deify them, because if you do, let's do that. But yeah, you can't deify your goals. Your goals should be goals. And I think deification also comes from an inability to see a tangible path to achievement of said goals. And also, but at the same time, I think it's hogwash. Like, not hogwash necessarily. I won't say that. I think that it's be careful, you know, the over-analysis trap, right? Because at the end of the day, I think that goals are very simple. What you want is effectively behind some course of action. And generally, that course of action is minimal, and what should be your focus is just doing, is truly acting. I genuinely think in this day and age, the most difficult thing you can do is follow through and act upon what it is that you want. So, like, I think really just doing it, you know? And admittedly, I feel like it's easier said than done, especially considering I've got really rank ADHD. And I think for me that is hard because I see the plan, but then I get really like overwhelmed by like everything. And that's why I suppose my meds help. They help me like pick one thing. Because that's the same thing with The Last of Us. Even in like a 3v1, you don't know if you're going to win. If you keep forcing yourself to win, that's stupid. You effectively have a few choices. You can turn around and run away, or you can like just look at one and shoot him until he gets knocked, and then look at the other one, shoot him until he gets knocked. Same shit, you know? Or you can get knocked. And you got to stop being so hard on yourself when you do get knocked, because that's the way it is. Every time you die, you learn something. Learning something is very important. And the other thing is, look at the ranks of these players. 999, 400, 600, 999. Okay, I looked at some of the hours that these players have put into the game. We're talking 1600, bro. 1600. I'm sitting at a calm 400. So there's obviously a difference between a player who's put in 4 times the amount of work you've put in, 4 times the amount of hours. And maybe, just maybe, there's something to be said there that if you want something, just put in hours to it. If you really want to know what is the most actionable thing you can do, give it time. Like, give it your time and energy. You know? What you water will surely grow. I think that also helps. But these are all lessons, though. You know, it's really, I don't know how much it is therapy, but these are things that I've learned and things that I've observed, I suppose. Let's do this. Yeah, we'll upgrade that. But yeah, and the other thing is, you know, see, for me, I'm looking at myself. I'm bottom half of the leaderboard. Okay. But, like, you know, and what? And what? That's not a reflection of who I am as an individual. That's a reflection of this game, sure. Of this, you know, of this relative skill level, maybe. But that's not a reflection of me as a person. That's not even fair to say to myself. Oh, he hits that all day. Yeah, I should have moved. But, like, at the same time, though, I think there is some merit in just not taking... Here's the deal. It seems I do criticize myself. So then what I can do is either take the self-criticism personally, or what I could do is I could just apply that next time. Or just trust that I will apply it next time. Not even apply it, trust that I will, and then let it go. And, like, I think the criticism itself is not the problem. I think it's the attitude to it, because the criticism is really just words. But I think that criticism in lieu of praise then becomes a bit detrimental. But at the same time, I think that just shifting your mentality a little bit towards even self-criticism, to being like mean, oh, this wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Just being like, well, for sure, you right, you a scheming dude, you're smart, you're thinking about how to do things better, and maybe this is just the way it is, so let's do it better, you know? So for now, right, like, I'm saying, well, why are you pushing out in the open? Switch to the pistol. And his boys are gonna pull up. Got him there, and he got me. And and we leave. But anyway, that was a bit loaded. I will see you all in part 3.